The Shaun Thompson Show is sponsored exclusively by DonleyAuctions.com. They need your guns. Sell for top dollar. DonleyAuctions.com.
Portions of the following show may be pre-recorded.
From the streets of Melrose Park to the trading floor of the Merc, he's fought for every dollar he's ever earned. And now, with personal liberty and our system of capitalism under assault in America, he's here to seize back our rights from the government. With a cigar in one hand and a copy of the Declaration of Independence in the other, he's Shaun Thompson. And this is the Shaun Thompson Show.
Some folks are born made to wave the
What does Bud Billiken Parade look like fun, huh, Swell? Piper to Ghetto. And people who moved out of the area smiled from coast to coast. As you see the result of ghettonomics. Isn't that already socialism, or is that called the Soviet movement? What exactly is it called? See, Squirrel, there used to be years ago on television, and the Sunday show specifically, such intellects would argue, and they would bat around Piven, Francis Fox Piven and Cloward, and they would bat around these American communists, all from Chicago, and they would make fun of them. But back then, there was a different articulation of what we were up against. You see, there is no such thing. Socialism does not exist. It's not a thing. It's just stealing from other people. And through time, people with an IQ over 60 who wouldn't go to the Bud Billiken Parade understood this. So that's why they didn't talk about it anymore. Socialism, communism, it's just policies of plunder. And that's what they were made to do, policies of plunder. So before we dive into the intellect of Zero, the modern-day Democrat, what is it called? Soviet party. I'm not going to call it socialist. They're Soviets. They don't have a plan. They just want to take everybody's stuff. Thomas Sowell, years and years ago, on the show Free to Choose, he understood exactly what this was.
No, what the government is trying to do, is to set up programs justified on the assumption that they are equalizing. I think the crucial thing is that when you try to create this equality, you don't create the equality, you create something else. I've been doing studies now for 20 years of programs designed to increase equality. They increase inequality because even when the programs are designed for disadvantaged groups, they help the affluent members of disadvantaged groups, while the lower members of those groups fall further behind than ever before. And
that's the goal, because you see it at the Bud Billiken. Have you ever seen so many people celebrate slavery, celebrate incompetence, celebrate a government system where the only place to be is inside the government? Gangbangers with pensions. It's all it is. And everybody knows that. That's why when you listen to them on the Sunday shows, they cannot tell you what it is. What exactly is this movement of the Democrat Soviet Party? You know what the fantastic part is? Is when they run for office, every once in a while, their staffers will be caught on a hot mic. This El Saidi, Yabba Dabba Doo, might be my favorite new one, because his imbeciles can't figure out when the red light is on, it's recording, stupid.
Thing is people aren't stupid. This politics of no translation is going to be the way forward. No, for sure. People, money on politics, money in your pocket, Medicare for all. No one has to decipher what the hell that means.
I just want people to be like,
no one has to decipher what that is. People are stupid. And to his credit, this has been done before. With ghetto care, known as Obamacare, which backdoor nationalized health care. You remember Hans Gruber's sissy cousin?
Politically, you just literally cannot do it. Okay, transparent financing, unless I have transparent financing, also transparent spending. I mean, this bill was written in a tortured way to make sure CBO did not score the mandate as taxes. If CBO scored the mandate as taxes, the bill dies. Okay, so it's written to do that. In terms of risk-rated subsidies, if you had a law which said healthy people are going to pay in, it made explicit that healthy people pay in and sick people get money, it would not have passed. Okay, just like lack of transparency is a huge political advantage. And basically, call it the stupidity of the American voter or whatever. But
No. Stupidity of your supporters. See, you don't have to look at a Bud Billiken Parade to figure out the people who support this are useless, dangerous morons who simply want to take from others. That's the grand scheme of things. Now, here's a chick whose face makes me hungry. I don't know her first name, but her last name is Romer. She could banned from all lumber yards, softening 2x4s with just a glance.
Democratic centralism is one of those kind of like scary words people hear and they're like, oh, like Stalin. And you're like, okay,
All right. It actually means something, and it has this greater historical context. And it just
does this Democrat utopia of socialism and communism and centralism, whatever you want to call it, does it have some sort of an exercise program? You fat slob! Why are they all disgusting?
Can you unpack it? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it means we make a decision democratically and then we do the thing. Like, that's all it means. It just means, like, we decided to all do this campaign and we're all showing up for the campaign. You know.
Now, what she's describing to morons is a mobocracy, where 51 take away the rights of the 49. This is exactly opposed. In fact, what she's advocating is an insurrection. She's advocating and preaching treason. Now, nobody takes her seriously because nobody takes Democrats seriously. You do know, like the Bud Billiken parade, you're a joke, right? You do know. You're a walking punchline. It's not a coincidence. Every area you have is full of ghettos, and your tax schemes, your policies of plunder, destroy the quality of life. Like Al-Saidi yabba-dabba-doo promises to tax the middle just a little bit more. You know who never pays taxes? A Pritzker and any other oligarch in the Democrat mafia, because they either marry money or they steal it, right? Silky G?
Make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who make less than $1 billion and less than $1 million, though, Dr. El-Sayed? What about people making...
Dr. Agatzan Gul. Isn't his wife a doctor, too, with her costume on like a mailbox? Where'd you get your degrees there, Al-Shaidi Yabba-Dabby-Dooey?
Less than $1 million.
So for the average person, and you look at your W-2, if you're an employee, he gets paid every 2 weeks or 4 weeks.
Is that how you get paid? Is that how your wife gets paid? Is that how the people who finance your campaign get paid? You see, this is the dirty little secret. Promises of utopia by taking more of the money of the people who work in the areas, unfortunately, they're governed. You see, and what they do is blame the system. The food is high. The burrito is high. The taxes of these areas are what destroys the quality of life, which is why the 11 states that make up 74% of our GDP, not a Democrat in sight, let alone in power.
After you pay your taxes, the next biggest check that comes off the top of your pay stub is to your health insurance company. So imagine instead of paying that to your health insurance company.
Whoa, wait a minute there, El-Sayed. I know you're talking to morons that do not work like the Bud Billiken parade members. But you're missing a bunch of stuff. All your other schemes of utopia, from unemployment to Social Security and how the employer pays and the guy pays and where's the money? Gone. Policies of plunder. So he's not talking to actual people who make money. He's just talking to the slobs, like Megan Romer, who want to take money, sit at home and wait for the pizza delivery guy to drop off a load.
CEO makes $20 million a year. Instead, you paid a little bit more in taxes for health care that you wouldn't lose if you lost your job or turned.
But in this healthcare system, do I at any point have to pay the insurance costs of a degenerate scumbag who is your supporter? Do I have to pay a degenerate scumbag with a degree like your wife or yourself who is a traitor, a Democrat, a roach? Because then I don't want to. Why don't the Democrats just say, we'll do it? You guys are so good at running stuff. Why don't you just have Democrat universal health care? And you put in all your little money, and if you're a Democrat constituent, you get your health care for free. Do you want to try that and see if it turns out any different than your ghetto areas you've already made uninhabitable for people with an IQ over 60 and a job, like Bud Billiken Parade?
26, or got married or got divorced. I think all of us would be a lot more interested in that kind of a system if we knew that our health care would be free at the point of care and would be free.
What is this free you speak of? How does free work? Anybody? What is free? And it's funny how you look at all these little areas, all these little municipalities, how they do not understand what they really are. You see, they're corporations that produce nothing but extortion of the people who live there. You do know that, right? Your little seal on your town, incorporated. Incorporated to do what? Incorporated to take a piece of the action of every transaction in that community. To charge taxes on things they'd never own, like water. To charge taxes after you've paid for the sin of buying real estate. Then you pay taxes to sell it. Ooh, transfer stamps. What's that? That's extortion by a corporation that produces nothing but bull dung of Gatsan Ghoul. Politicians who could never make money in the outside. You know what I realized, Squirrel? Nobody knows this. Like this scumbag municipal mayor of a place no one wants to live.
This is not a corporation. This is your municipal government.
It says corporation on the seal, Marty.
Hey, Marty! You stupid, bald bastard commie! Right behind you, it says corporation. What exactly do you do? And then you realize all they do is tax the life, the acquisition, the consumption of everybody who lives in those areas, which is why the people with an IQ over 60 who don't want to go to Bud Billiken Parade, they get the hell away from these commies.
Can we talk about the latest report from the Citizens Budget Commission? And I know you're very aware of this and sensitive to big businesses leaving New York City. Their latest report basically said wealthy individuals are moving out, families are moving out, and single filers are coming in, people who really...
Listen, why don't you just say this? The decent with jobs, character, and principles are getting away from the Democrats.
They can't afford New York City are coming here. You had to bail out New York City $8 billion this budget. They're saying they see a $10 billion budget deficit. What do you think? How do we stop this?
Well, first of all, the data that came out is from 2022.
Do you think it's any...
So, by the way, the data she's referring to was so staggeringly increased of people leaving and fleeing. That's before the global intifada asset known as Mayor Mandamny, who lived with his mother and father before he won the election, who destroyed the quality of life, who doesn't understand his ass from his elbow as he pretends to be helping people, took power. So take these numbers that they're discussing and times them by 4, and you're probably real close to how many people got the hell out of there or are planning to.
Better? I mean,
no,
we had an $8 billion budget deficit this year.
Let me explain.
Yeah.
All right.
Back then, big driver of people leaving, and you could draw a through line from when the Donald Trump administration and Congress got rid of the state and local tax.
Or maybe it's when you, on your Merlot, antidepressant, and Botox high, took a position you never should have had, you dizzy bimbo. Maybe it's when you drove up the taxes of everything like every other Democrat. You think it's that? I do.
The answer is socialism. Socialism is a disaster. Why is the cost of housing so high in New York City? Because, unfortunately, left-wing mayors have made it very difficult for developers to build in New York City. Mandamny, when he freezes rents, he's just going to make the problem worse. There are buildings in New York City, many buildings in New York City, where half the tenants, plus or minus, are rent-stabilized apartments. And so their rent is frozen, and the other half are free market. And so what does the landlord do in order to generate enough cash flow to cover his interest expense? Well, he's going to raise rents because he can't raise them.
Bill Ackman, what do you know? You just built a fortune worth billions on your brain. What do you know? Man, damn you live with his mammy and his pappy, who stole the Netflix password when he went by his boyfriend's house. He knows more than you, right? How many people know exactly what happens in New York City, where suck-on Democrats have been paying $80 a month for 40 years in rent?
My parents own a building for the last 38 years, and they have been abused by the system left and right. In 2026, we have a rent-controlled tenant that's been paying $80 a month rent for the last 38 years. My father owns the building. We can't afford to fix anything.
We have arrears for tenants that continue to not pay, housing court cases that refuse to move at any kind of normal pace. We have utilities that are skyrocketing.
Call a demolition company and tear the frickin' buildings down before you allow this Soviet movement to take control of your property. 312-642-5600.
Make money, smoke cigars, and live free on the Shaun Thompson Show on AM 560. The Answer.
Your kitchen's outdated. Your bathroom feels cramped. Every day you wait, prices go up. And you keep living in a space